Those fucking birds.
Nature, man.
I'll be all right. Yeah, nature. I'm sick of it.
I'm so glad we're recording in the middle of a forest.
Every day I hear they've cut down another acre of rainforest somewhere, and I say, good. Good riddance.
Just an acre. One singular acre each day.
Yeah, it's way more than that, isn't it? We're doing way more than that.
Imagine if it was just a single acre a day.
Smile. Breathe. And just remember, it's too late to get out of it, so you might as well go on.
Do you ever get the feeling that people are incapable of not caring?
You know, I'm screwed up and average enough that I could write a song that'll live on forever. And then after that, it don't matter. I am the king of gay chickens.
No, seriously, what the fuck?
Honestly, you're in a memory in your subconscious.
Fuck! Seriously?
I don't know what you've been told, little lady, but the rest of us start at 9. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Good morning.
Hey, Benny! Looks to me like you're on the wrong side of the river!
Is it gonna be like this all the time?
Big day today.
Massive day.
Big day.
What happened today?
It's the coronation, mate.
Huge day.
King Charles the Third. Unfortunate name, given what happened to the other ones.
Like, it sounds like a nice, powerful name, King Charles. But when you know what he is, you're like,
I think he, as a person, has harmed the branding of the name Charles in his lifetime, and now we associate it with that guy, with its Prince Charles. And yeah, he's not passing it up. He's not letting William just step in. He's like, no,
I deserve this.
I've gone through so much.
He needs
I'm
a
sitting on that fucking chair. I don't care.
I'm soiling that chair.
I don't care if I die the next day. I'm sitting on that fucking... Like, if he said...
Mummy said I would be sitting in the chair.
No, Mummy didn't say. God said. God said it. The creator...
It has been ordained.
Of the reality we are in said, I am the one who sits on that chair, and I'm going to fucking... If he said that, great. I'd have so
more
much
respect
more
for him. Yeah.
respect for him if he was like, I'm sitting on that fucking chair and no one can stop me.
I want him to like accidentally drop the little ball thing that they put in his hand, or like the scepter.
The orbital scepter, yeah.
I want him to do something weird with him.
Well, there's got to be a high likelihood of that given his big fat weird fingers. Remember that picture?
No. Am I Googling something right now?
I'll show you.
Okay. He's got big fat weird fingers.
If you just search Prince Charles fingers,
oh Jesus!
People zoomed on this picture of him, and
had he like eaten something terrible?
I don't know. I mean, you don't have too much of a go at him. It's probably just like heart failure or something. But
yeah, he's old. But I've seen old people have regular people fingers.
You know,
you don't have to have pillows on your hands.
Yeah,
it's like he's wearing a puffer jacket for his hands.
Yeah, I think he's suffering from an acute case of royal hand.
Because he's never done a thing in his life.
Yeah, that's what happens when your hands don't do anything. When they just hang limply at the end of your arms. He's never had to
use them for anything. Self-pleasure is by one of his servants.
Yeah, exactly.
People probably cut up his steaks.
He hasn't got that lithe hand strength that comes from a lifetime of distracting yourself from what you're meant to be doing. Such as a commoner might have.
A commoner? One of the plebs.
One of the, yeah. The Swanish multitude. So yeah, anyway, my mum will be watching that. Love all that. It's interesting
Ash
from a
is
history
on her way
perspective.
to a luncheon today held by one of her grandparents, which is in celebration of the coronation.
Yeah.
They're having a community hall luncheon.
Aww.
It is quite adorable.
See, stuff like that.
But also pointless.
We need to find a... Well, everything's pointless, I think. We need to find a way... We need to find a way to be able to have the community luncheon, you know. I mean, because, like, what are we going to have community luncheons about?
Well,
there's probably
when
a
the
bunch
king
of stuff.
dies next week.
Yeah, when the king dies next week, that's going to be a big one.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a more somber lunch.
Probably not. Imagine 1 week of terror. Like he gets the official title, and then just like the reign of terror just begins.
Immediately invades France.
Prima Nocta, reinstated.
Yeah, I'm doing the Braveheart thing. You know, from Braveheart? I'm doing that thing.
God, Jesus.
Yeah.
Fucking
It's cool from a historical perspective. It's like it's the only example in all of Europe of a coronation ceremony, I think, that like it dates back to like 1,000 years, parts of it, like the 10th century.
This one.
Yeah, parts of the ceremony and stuff.
I wonder if he's got a rehearsed dance number.
I think probably not.
Damn it.
I think he'll just improv it.
Nice.
He's just going to see how he feels in the moment, and get out there and do both his hips.
Some Spanish EDM music, just like
Yeah,
and he's just like
yeah. Avicii rises up through the floor. You're alive, and this is how he reveals it. See any good movies lately?
Yes, I have.
What you
watched
seen,
Evil
mate?
Dead Rise the other night.
Oh yeah.
We went to Gold Class for my birthday.
Oh yeah.
And Ashley's like, I've bought us tickets. And I'm like, to see what? And she said, Evil Dead Rise. And I'm like, you don't want to see that. And she's like, yeah, but you do. And so she had a horrible time.
It looked pretty intense.
It's not terrible. Like
Yeah.
I love the original Evil Dead movies for what they are. Just something made very, very cheap. They just had a great time doing it. It's just gore. It's just funny. It's an actual horror film. Like it's nice, and there's some nice little jump scares. It's proper horrific.
I see. For me, I think it's not something like that. It just comes out the other side. Like it's not scary anymore. I'm just laughing.
The gore bit isn't the scary bit. I think this film's done well because it's like classically this kind of film is a cabin in the woods movie.
Right.
Everyone goes into the woods, one person gets infected with something, and stuff happens. But they've done that. But instead of being a cabin in the woods, they're on the top floor of an apartment building, trapped.
That's all right.
In like an aging LA apartment building, which is a very cool
that's
vibe.
good. Yeah.
And like so many of like the twists, and you're like at the start of the movie they show you the trailer of a like a tree harvesting, like a when you cut down trees, like a wood chipper.
Wood chipper.
They show you a trailer. I'm like, okay, cool. That'll be necessary later. It is.
Where's the wood chipper?
In the basement car park of this building.
Yeah, sure.
Like as soon as you see it, you're like, okay, that's disgusting. Something's going to happen terrible.
Yeah.
It does.
Love a person getting thrown into a wood chipper. Starring Lily Sullivan, who is also the star. Australia's Lily Sullivan is the star of Monolith, one of the movies we saw at the Gold Coast Film Festival.
And she does very good.
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, we should be saying, have we seen any bloody good movies?
Oh, yeah. What
we
good
bloody
movies have we
have.
seen lately?
I think lately we've seen Girls' Night Out.
Oh.
A couple of good actors in that.
Yeah,
Fans of our Instagram will know. Starring the one and only Isaac Tibbs. Up on the big screen down at the Gold Coast Film Festival.
What did you think?
I thought it was a very charming slice of life, as I was saying at the time. It took me back a little bit. Because like I said...
2010-ish.
It's sort of, it's sort of like Girls' Night Out 10 years ago. No one's vaping, no one's Snapchatting.
Yeah.
So it's just sort of like people being people in the world.
Actually, do they?
No one vapes in that movie.
There's some cigarettes.
Yeah. And I was
but
like,
that's 10 years ago.
Yeah, I was like, 2010. All the kids are on the vapes now, I said.
This is true.
So, yeah, so I enjoyed that. Felt like a bit of a little time capsule.
A time capsule.
Yeah. And obviously enjoyed your performance immensely.
Thank you.
Bringing a degree of frenetic energy to the screen that maybe could have been, was maybe not as present in the rest of the movie, I would say. Just because other characters weren't as mad as you.
This is true.
Yeah. You know what I finally saw for the first bloody time?
The Whale?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I haven't seen The Whale.
Paranormal Activity, Next of Kin.
I've seen all the Paranormal Activities, mate. Don't...
Well, I watched that recently.
Get the hell out of here with that attitude. I see them as soon as they're available. Heat.
Okay.
You seen Heat?
The Heat or Heat?
No, Heat.
Okay, cool.
De Niro. Pacino.
I've definitely seen Heat, yes.
Kilmer. Trejo.
It's a very long movie.
Everyone is in that movie.
Yep. Because it's a very long movie.
You have one random scene with a doctor. Oh, who's that doctor? Jeremy Piven. That's who that doctor is. Weird, angular face guy who isn't Willem Dafoe. He's in it. William Urquhart, I think.
I don't know his name.
Excellent film.
It is an excellent film.
I mean, I know I'm not breaking any news here, but fantastic. Didn't feel the length at all.
Good.
Because it's just like engaging scenes. And it was really enjoyable, I found, to watch what looked like the police doing a very good job.
Mm.
You have just these two sort of unstoppable forces of people who are both very good at what they're trying to do, and they're just with opposed goals, and just watching them crash into each other and over again. I don't feel like you get that often. I feel like
you really don't.
People are mumbling, or normally you'd have the tension in a story is that the antagonist is so much more powerful than the protagonist.
And there's the protagonist has to learn how to overcome that.
And they have to learn how to overcome that. But here it's like you have two protagonists that are completely equally matched.
Mm.
And you
just on opposing sides.
And you're rooting for both of them. And so you just have to watch them collide over and over again. So, yeah, I think that was very good.
They're making a sequel.
Yeah, I heard that.
Well, it's they're both based on books. Like The Heat 2 or Heat 2 is a book that was written like 2003.
By the same author?
Same author.
Wow, okay.
And so I think it's that old, yeah. But yeah, now they're finally making the sequel.
See, if you tell me you're making a Heat 2, I'm like, are you?
Yeah, is it going to be the same thing? Or
because it's not going to be 83-year-old Al Pacino running around hunting down 85-year-old Rob De Niro. It's crazy that Al Pacino, he's already like 55 in that movie.
Mm.
It's the mid-90s, and you think, oh yeah, Al Pacino, peak Pacino. And it is peak Pacino, but he's mid-50s. Looking fantastic as well.
Mm.
And I finally managed to make it all the way through Equalizer.
The first one?
The first one, yeah. Because I am intrigued now there's a third one coming out. It's the only time Washington's ever done sequels.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, it's the only sequel he's ever done is to Equalizer.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
That's cool.
Yeah. And...
It's fun.
It's just such a dad movie.
Yeah, it is.
It's just dads who just
want... The second one is even more of a dad movie.
That's the thing that puts me... Because there's like... Denzel Washington has a bit of a thing that I kind of don't love. Just this kind... He's clearly an extremely talented person and a very nice guy in a lot of ways. But he also has... I don't know, just that very like individualist... No, like if you want to be great... And in a lot of ways this is obviously true, but like... What am I trying to say?
I don't know.
I think maybe just an over emphasis on the amount of control and power an individual should be expected to be able to exert over their own life.
Sure.
And a seeming sort of degree of overconfidence, in my opinion, in the idea that his success has been a result of his own personal discipline and success. You know?
Sure.
I feel like he just takes too much personal credit for his own achievements, which sounds kind of fucked up, but I'm just saying
he doesn't understand that there's a fuck ton of luck involved.
Yeah. Compare this to, I saw a great clip of Arnold Schwarzenegger the other day saying like, everyone would always tell me I'm so amazing, you're the American dream, you're such a self-made man. You can call me many things, but don't ever call me a self-made man, because I wouldn't be here if I hadn't had my parents who loved me and supported me. I wouldn't be here if I hadn't met this bodybuilding coach and these mentors in that industry, and if I hadn't met this director who gave me Conan the Barbarian, and if James Cameron hadn't given me those opportunities. So all these different people came together to help me all the time. And that's how I got to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it's just like a slightly more humble, grounded approach, which isn't to say that Denzel isn't necessarily humble and grounded, but just the way I hear him talk about it, his emphasis is really on how disciplined and personally strong you have to be if you want to push through and build the life you want to live, which is okay for one person to think for themselves about themselves, but I don't like the implication that you think that's how you did it.
Yeah.
You know, because if you have a great capacity for self-discipline, you didn't choose to have that capacity or make that capacity for yourself. Where'd that come from? You just happen to be the kind of person who has that capacity. So it's just an infinite regress. And then you get something like Equalizer, and I don't know, it's just this massive male fantasy of, like middle-aged male fantasy of was married, but she tragically died. So he does fuck. Don't worry about it. But we're not tied down. He definitely fucks.
He's not tied down to anything.
But we're not tied down. We've just got our cool single man apartment, and it's not sad because we're reading nice books, but just like having complete control over your environment, which I think will be a real big fantasy.
And then you get to be the hero middle-aged dad, a young Chloe Grace Moretz, type.
Yeah. So and then a young person meets you, and they need your help. They need your material help, and they need your advice. And then they accept all of your advice, and they follow it, and it works, and then they thank you for it. I think that's how like a lot of guys and dads think young people are going to relate to them. And instead, young people are like, "Shut up, you're lame. I don't care what you think about anything. I'm going to go vape," and then they just run off. And so I think there's a lot of there's probably a bit of a Gen X-y boomer thing that's hopefully passing away a little bit. I think a lot of dads have this sort of boiling rage that their life experience
hasn't been an action movie.
Isn't valued by young people, and so they're like, "Whoa, I've got all these lessons, but no one listens to me." And in this situation, the dream is to have complete control over your life, be completely physically unassailable and dangerous, but also respected and looked up to by many people around you, especially young people.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to be a dad because that's gross and kind of drags you down. But you do want to be a father figure to people that you can sort of dip in and out of their lives.
You can't have actual responsibility.
And be You
have to have the ability to take upon responsibility when it is convenient.
Yeah, I don't want to be like driving people to netball practice, but I do want to give excellent advice that rescues people from situations of grave danger and help people achieve their dreams like becoming security guard. And then I want to defeat the bad guy in Bunnings.
Yeah. That's your temple.
How much of I'm going to lure the bad guy into my temple of Bunnings and then use my extreme Bunnings knowledge to kill him and his henchmen. Equalizer. And so I just thought that was quite funny.
It is quite funny. Have you seen The Professional?
June Reno?
Yeah, the Natalie Portman thing from the 90s.
No, I'm aware of it, but I haven't seen it.
Same kind of premise as The Equalizer, whereas like The Professional is an assassin, and like he's got control over his entire life. He lives in an apartment. And, it's a very simple life. Natalie Portman's family gets into some trouble. Obviously, her family gets killed, and she is the young person that requires his help, aid, and advice and stuff.
Yeah, it's a tale as old as time.
It's a great film, and it ends with him literally... Are you going to watch it? No, I'm just going to fucking spoil it. You've had 20 years.
Yeah.
It ends with him sacrificing his life to protect this child from these bad guys.
Right.
Badass. Like, it's so fucking badass.
Mm-hmm.
Great film.
Yeah.
And that's just, like, I think a better way of doing the whole
we're gonna
middle-aged dude saving the young person and protecting it. Like, that's such a much better way to do that than have him just be perfect at everything.
Perfect, and keep going. We're doing a third one.
Keep aging.
Now it's in Italy.
Is the third one in Italy?
Third one's in Italy.
Jesus.
Just further extending that male fantasy of...
Well, it's like...
And then I'd go and fucking live in Italy as well. After I wiped out the mob in this whole town, single-handed.
He goes... The second one is bigger because they like the ending takes place at a further...
And see, I think... And like John Wick gets outside of this...
I think John Wick is
it's sillier.
It's falling under the same sort of thing though, because John Wick was an action movie with an aging action star in it, badass, and like now it's got like four
Al Pacino
sequels.
is 55.
It's got 4 sequels. That's clearly why they're making more Equalizer movies because look, another aging action hero. Let's make sequels.
Yeah, it's just it's the Taken model. It is
the Taken model.
The story of these tales is a tale as old as time. But I think John Wick gets outside of it by just being sillier and there's no kids involved.
Yeah.
So it's still like... And I think John Wick manages... It weirdly kind of sort of subverts the male fantasy a little bit because it doesn't look fun, what he's doing. No. He's having an absolute shit of a time the entire time. So you don't really want to live through John Wick because it looks awful. So that makes it sit in an interesting place, I think, in terms of a fantasy.
Like Taken, he's having the great time.
Everyone would love to be Taken.
Yeah, because he just walks. Liam Neeson tortures other people.
Yeah.
He jumps over fences and it's filmed 30 times, so he doesn't really have to jump over the fence. He just has to stand in a spot and move a little bit.
Yeah.
And they cut it.
And that is, my wife and daughter don't respect me. I wish they could get
kidnapped,
taken by sex traffickers so that I could daringly get them back, and then they'll never be able to say shit to me. Because I rescued them from those sex traffickers that time. That's what Taken is. And they were a lot of fun. But I'm just saying.
Yeah. What are we talking about today?
Today... God, I'm going to have to cut this in early because I'll forget what we're going to do.
How long are we... Jesus Christ.
Half an hour. I have to go to the bathroom. But, now we live in an age of sequels. Not all movies get sequels. Every so often a movie would come along. It would be a moment in time. It would capture things that otherwise would never have been captured, words that you might have never known anyone had ever said, but they're committed to film, and now we know they exist, and then we all moved on until today, when we're going back to 1992 to watch Encino Man. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Exceptional Thieves. This is a podcast where Isaac and I review and rewrite movies. I'm Sam,
and I'm Isaac.
And this is the 5th episode of Turns of Frase, our special series, watching and reviewing the entire filmography of Brendan Fraser, the king of film. If you are enjoying the show, we should say this up top. If you've been enjoying the show, you should subscribe to it.
Oh.
I don't know who listens to shows not subscribe. I guess because then you'll never go back
sort of
to
subscribes for me. Because, if I listen to one episode of a podcast or anything on Spotify,
okay,
I'll just turn Spotify on a few weeks later and say, hey, jump back in. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I can.
Okay, yeah, okay. Well, if you're not on Spotify, then subscribe. And if you're on Spotify, just jump back in.
Just jump back in.
Give us a 5-star review. And that doesn't have to mean you like the show. It could just mean,
it should mean that you like
5
the
out
show.
of 5 stars of, it was okay. Or
if it goes long enough, the longer it goes, give it an extra star.
Yeah, give us a star for every minute that you listened.
Nice.
So I think if we get past 5, job done.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's content.
That's content. And that's what life is about. Making and being and consuming content. We're on Twitter at Exceptional Pod, and Instagram at Exceptional Thieves. And I'm on TikTok now, and you can see clips of us on there as well.
Wow.
If you search my name, I won't tell you what it is.
The link's in the bio.
links in the description below, I think. So this is going great. Oh man, Encino Man. This is a film. This is a Brendan Fraser film right here.
It is a Brendan Fraser film.
It's the first Brendan Fraser cinema release. Which is pretty exciting. Came out May 22nd, 1992.
Big summer hit.
Well, it's a modest hit, is how it's been described online. So budget of $7 million, which is nothing. They shot over 30 days. And box office of $40 million.
Oh, making profit, making bank.
Yeah, exactly. It's no The Mummy.
Well, that's true.
Which
it really is.
Which made nearly half a bill.
I've watched it, yeah.
In lots of ways. But yeah,
same premise as The Mummy, really.
Similar history-related premise. Have you seen this before?
I don't think I've ever seen Encino Man. I knew of its existence.
Yeah. I didn't know of its existence. I had no idea what the title meant. And apparently I wasn't alone. Because outside of America and a lot of places, it was titled California Man.
That works much better.
Yeah. Encino is a place in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. Did you know?
I did know that, yes.
I didn't know that.
But for the en masse, California Man kind of works better.
Yeah, for the uneducated multitude, such as even still, California Man, I'm not sure what that means.
It just means a man from California.
Exactly, like I presume
But he's from California a long time ago.
But he's from somewhere near California, and then the glacier moved underground.
Moved him, yeah.
Apparently. I mean, I guess
Underground glacial movement. That's what causes the earthquakes. It all checks out.
It all, yeah. The geology of this movie is completely on point.
Underground glacial movement.
Well, underground glacial movement that breaches the surface in LA and doesn't melt. Just refuses to melt. Unmeltable ice. That's what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, but it's ancient ice though, so obviously
it's old-timey ice,
Yeah.
which was much better than modern ice.
true.
That's
how it works. That's science. That's just science.
If you
man.
buy, because once ice is old, then it's the water molecules become more wet, and
colder.
They get colder.
The older it gets, the colder it gets.
It gets older and colder. So like a grandmother.
Exact like your grandmother.
Like my as they have less love in their heart and they get older and colder, like ice.
Exactly.
Then eventually that ice or the grandmother will turn into a diamond.
And form a underground glacial current.
Which over time births Brendan Fraser. And that's the origin story of Brendan Fraser that we will be working with moving forward. So Encino Man. What did you think?
I wanted to love it. Mm-hmm. I wanted to so bad. It's not good.
Well, yeah.
And I think my main problem is I love Sean Astin. I think Sean Astin is fantastic because I love the Goonies. He's
National treasure.
Samwise. Sean Astin is great.
Yeah.
He's not the right choice for this film.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
I don't think it's written well or is good or is
you look, well, this movie's had a pretty significant sort of cultural legacy in a lot of ways. In a strange way, like there's a lot of information about it online. I've read a very great article, the oral history of Encino Man on inverse.com. There's amazing interviews with the director, the cast, the producers, like lots of interesting details. I think the question about whether or not this movie is good, it doesn't really. I mean, Brendan Fraser is good at being caveman, what come out of ice.
Yes.
I thought Sean Astin is doing fine as, fairly basically written.
Mid-20s, 16-year-old.
Yeah, mid-20s, 16-year-old straight guy of the trio. Pauly Shore.
For me, he's the highlight of the film.
Well, he is where the discussion, he's the hinge point, I think, of this entire movie. I think whether or not you like this movie really hinges on how much you're down with the Pauly Shore of it all. And so he was sort of the first component of the whole thing that came together after they had the script and stuff. They basically thought, okay, we want to get Pauly Shore in because he was blowing up on MTV at the time.
Yeah,
he had his he was being totally Pauly on MTV. So when he sort of wander around being this character basically.
In regular life.
They're like, oh yeah, harsh and the weasel, and then sick nugs, and they're like, okay, here's Aerosmith, and then cut back to a video. So real time capsule. So initially they were going to get him to be the caveman, and then he was like, no, because I have to talk, because listen to my great voice. This movie got mentioned at the Oscars by Jimmy Kimmel, obviously because you have Brendan Fraser and Huy Quan.
Yeah.
Huy Quan and Sean Astin are on screen together in this, which is the only time two people from the Goonies were ever on screen again together.
Oh, that's adorable.
After the movie, this is the only time. And Jimmy Kimmel said, this is so weird, this was said on TV just a couple of months ago. 2 actors from Encino Man are nominated for Oscars. What an incredible night it must be for the two of you, and what a very difficult night for Pauly Shore. Maybe it's time to reboot Biodome. Roasted. Pretty mean. Pauly Shore also won the Worst New Star Razzie Award for this movie.
Oh.
Which is such a mean award to even give out.
Yeah, like you're like new star.
Worst
if you're doing
new
it for like 10
star.
years and you're winning bad acting awards, that's
They've
cool.
just started. I mean, I personally find his performance in this film pretty annoying. I'm not a massive fan of it. But, I mean, to give out the worst new star is like, who just got started in the industry and looks like they shouldn't even have bothered. Here's an award for you, mate.
Let's kick this in the bud,
Mean.
right? Let's just nip that before it takes hold.
Yeah, so Pauly Shore plays Stoney. He's Sean Astin's best friend, the imaginatively named Stoney,
Yeah.
who's clearly just baked the entire time, although it's never seen on screen because that would be too far.
You can't show the drugs.
And he's wearing crazy clothes, which are just, I mean, you know, I respect it, but they're ugly clothes.
I think the clothes for most of this movie are ugly. The clothes that they give to Brendan Fraser.
I love what Brendan Fraser's wearing. I think the look and the fashion of Brendan Fraser is one of the strengths of this whole movie.
For me, looking at it, it's like any sort of like ad that you saw of like what a typical kid's bedroom looked like in the 90s or the late 80s.
Yeah.
That's what this film feels like it. Like they've just taken the MTV, like what everyone assumes the cool kids or like the really, really like proper cool kids' bedrooms look like.
Yeah.
This is what this movie has to look like. When everyone's actual lives would not have been like that.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, we want to live through these characters, you know. I mean, if you were a 14-year-old in the early 90s, this was your Equalizer.
This was your Equalizer.
You know, you want to live through the avatar of these amazing losers. I don't know what it is about Pauly Shore because
you just didn't like it. You didn't like it.
It's something very weird, and I think it's going to be very individual, person to person. For me,
I enjoyed it.
I mean, in a lot of ways, he's a fantastic character because he says stuff like, "If you're edged because I'm wheezing all your grindage, just chill." Because if I had the whole Brady punch thing happen at my pad, I'd go grind over there, so don't tax my gig so hardcore, Cruster. And all of that. That's all Pauly Shore stuff. Like that's who he was on MTV, and he basically Pauly Shoreified the script with all of this stuff. Like, and at a certain point they realized like he uses lots of words like nugs and stuff that have no meaning. He doesn't know what they mean. It's just like this constant rolling dialogue of fake slang, which I kind of like and respect.
I enjoy that it's fake slang, and it's not like real. Like people didn't talk like this.
No, but
Just
he's doing.
him.
But he's like he's a type of person that existed at the time, and I think it's interesting because he had like MTV, because MTV would just like follow him around in his life and turn that into what we would now call content, but they called television.
Yes,
and he had MTV following him around on the set as well. So he's doing this sort of like cross promotion, very modern, I think. Like
that
this is
quite fancy.
You know, I think this is it's an ancestor of, I think that sort of MTV show seems to be like an ancestor of what a lot of YouTube shows and stuff are now.
Yeah.
Of just contentifying your life to be able to like make one TV show out of the movie you're on. Yeah, it's just interesting that he was doing that. But for me, his face and hair don't match the character that he's playing.
He looks like a guy who's playing a glam rocker and Spinal Tap.
Yeah, he's got his face and hair of glam rocker, but he's a valley stoner sort of post surf guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
can't surf.
I think I don't trust him because he looks a bit too like Sideshow Bob.
Understandable.
He's got a Sideshow Bob energy to his physiognomy that I can't overlook. Directed by Les Mayfield, also who would go on to be the amazing director of Flubber.
Nice. That is
big.
That
90s
is cool.
guy. And I thought this is interesting. He was the director, and then there was the writer George Zaloom, and another writer as well, whose name I forget. And they had basically been doing loads of behind-the-scenes stuff for a long time. They would do like the behind-the-scenes featurettes for like Spielberg. They made Hearts of Darkness, the Apocalypse Now documentary.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, which is way better than Apocalypse Now, as we know from Community.
Yeah.
These guys made that documentary, and they wanted to make a break into feature film writing and directing, and this was their idea.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Ben Stiller screen tested for the role of Encino Man. Of Link.
Of Link.
Yeah, he's the only one. But they just really wanted Brendan Fraser the whole time. And Brendan Fraser was in this weird position because, like, the one we're doing after this is School Ties with, like, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and it's a big, intense drama.
Yes.
And so he had lots of, like, buzz around him as being an emerging, thespian, big-time serious performer.
Brendan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so he was really on the fence about doing this because it's silly and dumb. And it's an
that is correct.
It's an MTV movie, basically. And then apparently they just kept like asking him because he was obviously way better than everyone else. I guess in embodying the physicality of this character, which I think is one of the real strengths of the movie.
Yes.
And because he's going to be this big important actor, why would he want to be a caveman in a teen stoner comedy? And they eventually just like beat him down over time to make him do it. And so he did them back to back.
Sought after though. That's really cool.
Yeah. I think it's interesting to know that he had this serious actor buzz early on, because really, I mean, one thing I read is sort of describing this is the beginning of his himbo trilogy. Because if you think Brendan Fraser 90s, a lot of people would think about this, and then you'd think about George of the Jungle,
and then The Mummy.
Well, yes, but then the himbo trilogy is concluded by Blast from the Past, when he comes out of the bunker.
Yeah.
And so it's this series of characters who are like sexy Born Yesterday characters.
Yeah.
Who are like, incredibly attractive guy, but like doesn't even know what toxic masculinity is, and is sort of wide-eyed and naive, doesn't realize how attractive they are, sort of bumbling around the world. So that's a thing that he kind of helped define, that probably led to a lot of other roles down the line as well.
That's kind of cool.
And you see, probably leads to things like Magic Mike in the distant future, sort of arriving. Like it's a different kind of male trope or male archetype in contrast to most other forms of male characters in movies like action stars and romantic comedy leads and etc. But beneath all that, he was already being buzzed. They could already see that Oscar coming 30 years ahead. Definitely. And there was a lot of buzz about him being a big serious actor.
Well, we saw it in the last film we watched.
Well, exactly. That's how he's come out of the gate strong with something like Presumed Guilty. So yeah, so we're doing this first, but he filmed School Ties first, then immediately did this, but then this came out first. And School Ties
there's less CGI in this.
Much less. Yeah. Didn't have to CGI on all those ties they forgot to put on due to the costume department. Great poster. I saw quotes on the poster. A chillin' new comedy in full Neander vision.
Nice.
Thawing soon at this cinema. Because he's in ice. All right, should we get into it?
We should probably go through the plot.
Get fucking into it. So it starts off caveman times.
Mm-hmm. Nicely done.
I think they said at one point it's 2 million years ago, which is...
Does it?
It's a bit much, I think. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
It
is a while ago.
Yeah, so Brendan's there just walking around as like the most handsome caveman.
I love that he comes in with his nice skin coat and just gives it to his missus. He's like, she's like shivering in the corner in hers. Yeah. He's like, you take this.
Yeah, because they're having
a
horrible time, as I imagine you did a lot of the time as a caveman.
It's so nice though. Like, oh yeah, man, chivalry.
Yeah. The birth of chivalry. Never mind
Brendan
the death.
Fraser.
It ended in 2004, but it started with Brendan Fraser.
And then an earthquake happens in their cave.
Yeah.
And ice falls in upon them.
Yeah, an incredibly dark scene.
Yes.
I didn't think you'd have to show the past at all. Like, it's clear he's a caveman when he wakes up. Let's leave that all unknown. Don't be like, oh yeah, he had loved ones and they're gone.
But he don't know. But he
because was it just him and his wife? Because you would normally be a larger group.
Yeah,
have they already?
He has a family tribe group.
Have they already all frozen to death, and you're the last ones?
Oh, that's harsh.
Like, this is obviously a terrible time, and it's just so incongruous with,
because it's
stop
just,
wheezing my grindage.
Because it's just the two of them and they're teenagers. It's possible
One
that
hopes.
they've set out on their own, away from the tribe.
Maybe it's a Romeo and Juliet situation.
And so that they were in this, they'd run off together, wound up in this cave.
Accidentally ran into the Ice Age.
Yeah.
Like,
And then
oh no.
they perish into the glacier, the underground glacier,
Yeah.
and freeze for several 100,000 years.
Yeah. Which, can't happen. You can be frozen, I think, for a few hours. I'm not sure how long you can be frozen for and then brought back.
This film suggests quite a while.
Yeah, but I forgive me for not taking this film's word for it.
Oh, okay. Have you seen Demolition Man? Or
No.
Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery?
Uh-huh.
Or the entire premise of Futurama? There are so many
any
times
other
when you can
future.
get frozen and wake up in the future.
I guess so.
Walt Disney's just planning
Walt
it.
Disney's, he's hoping that. Can you
He's seen those films.
Can you imagine if they do it? If in like 100 years someone's like, well, I guess we can wake Walt up. How's the company going? We actually own the planet.
Yeah, we did what you wanted. We got everything.
We won at business, and we're in the process of trying to buy the moon from ourselves. Yeah, we've infected all of culture like a virus, and now we built our new headquarters at the center of the earth.
And it's time for you to take your throne, my liege.
Take your throne. I see you have the big weird hands of a king. Take your throne.
Could come from being frozen for the last 200 years.
Yeah, and Walt Disney just fights King Charles
Oh, that'd be badass. Because then King Charles would be painted in a good
mud
light.
pit. If he fought,
If he fought and defeated the
Reanimated
reanimated Walt Disney
yeah,
in a mech suit. Reanimated Walt Disney definitely has like a Mickey Mouse mech suit.
yeah.
And King Charles has like an armored horse.
His mech suit is a version of Queen Elizabeth. He's big Queen Liz, and he punches Mickey Mouse.
Because they made Lizzie a mech suit, and she never got to use it.
Yeah.
So Charlie gets to
And
use
they're
it.
like, "You gonna make another one? No, you just.
We made the best one.
Come, I think we spent enough fucking money on you, pal.
It's wearing a fancy
in there.
pantsuit.
Get in there and fight Walt Disney."
It's got the little hat. Like one of her little hats and a little
Yeah,
green jacket and
big
skirt.
handbag swinging around. That's his finishing move: is you swing the handbag. Mortal Kombat, finish him off. And then Britain owns Disney.
Yes. Because
And
if Walt
finally-
Disney defeats the king, then he owns the world.
Yeah.
And therefore
So there's a lot on the line. But if King defeats Walt Disney, then we get Disney. And now the bad people don't have to be English anymore. Now they're German and French again, as is the Lord's way. So it's caveman times.
a Mickey Mouse mech suit.
Oh, I bet it exists. It 100% exists.
Look out, Doodoo! Goes charging in.
I find Mickey Mouse's that voice so unsettling. It's just the voice of, like, an animated doll that's about to kill you.
I'm going to kill you!
Yeah. Yeah. Why? Because I'm filled with rage that I cannot express any other way.
Your reign is over!
Yeah.
Let's put a smile on that face.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Why so serious?
They need to make like a Blood and Honey of Mickey Mouse.
Did you watch that?
No, but I'd like to.
I'm terrified because I love Winnie the Pooh so much.
Yeah.
Of
course.
I don't want to watch it. Because it's like a leather suit. Like, there's no fuzz on those costumes.
Yeah.
It's not a bear. It's like a skin.
Let's fucking do it. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's a smaller bear wearing the leather skin of a larger bear.
The tanned skin of a larger bear.
Yeah.
It's actually the skin of a bear, but he's just turned it inside out to put it on. So the fur
So
is
there's
on
no
the
fur.
inside.
Ooh.
It's just the inner layer is the outside layer now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Sorry.
want to see it.
Yes, it's caveman times. An earthquake happens.
We cut to Sean Astin doing his...
Also, an earthquake happens.
Yeah, so big earthquake storylines.
Sean Astin wakes up in his very messy, very 90s bedroom.
Playing Dave.
Oof, what a name.
What a name. And he's digging a hole in the garden to make a swimming pool.
So that everyone will come over and use his swimming pool and he
think
will be cool.
And think he's cool. And that's setting up, like, quote unquote, the overall, like, the driving motivation of Dave is to be cool and to make an impact at school, which is not an impulse I ever had. When he's like, I want my own page in the yearbook.
Yeah.
I never got that thing of like, I've got to make something.
Even thinking about the yearbook.
I've got to make something of
the year.
myself while I'm at school. No, you don't.
No.
Who gives a shit? Fuck all these people and leave.
School was a chore.
Yeah.
Like, you went to school and then you went home and then you played Xbox.
Like, you don't be in prison and be like, I've got to make something of myself in here. I've got to be the best prisoner. No. You just wait it out and then fuck off.
You go to a job. You got to make something. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
You just sit in your office and you do your fucking job.
I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be the best Kmart deputy manager. No, shut up. Shut up. I'm gonna
be the best soldier in this entire platoon.
Yeah, I'm gonna rebel by winning. Okay, Jocko Willink, just calm the fuck down. You're just saying everything the man wants you to say. Anyway, and apparently the producer was saying that he did this. He like, because I guess it's like 80s parenting and 90s parenting where you could dig a swimming pool in your backyard and your parents wouldn't notice until you'd done it. And then they're like, oh, he tells the story like
the producer.
Yeah, or one of the writers, I think, that
he dug a swimming pool.
Well, he dug a big mud pit and all his friends came around and played in it. And then only after they've been doing that for ages, his dad came out and was like, what are you doing? Because the dad was like, if you want a swimming pool, you can make it yourself, basically. And so he went and did it. And so, I guess that's the kind of laissez-faire attitude to, or you see your kids, you'd be like, okay, I'm going to check in with them in 48 hours, see how they're going.
I like that the hole is so large. It's been at
so big
for a very long time.
It's comically big, so much bigger than it needs to be to find Encino Man as well.
Well, you got to get quite deep to get to that underground glacial flow.
That's a big, you can go deep, but he's gone wide. Like that's a
it's
big
a pool.
pool.
He's made a pool.
Yeah.
For all of his friends.
For all of his,
he's got to fit his friendship group in.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Goonies never say die.
How it works and what it means to be cool and how they'll know if they've achieved it is too vague in this film.
This is,
So that's one of the problems. What it is the characters are trying to achieve through this caveman, I never really understood. And
it's not explained enough.
I didn't know how close or far away we were from
it.
It was just like, it's very much a hanging out vibes movie.
Yes.
Once you treat it as such, because there's lots of just like hanging out with Brendan Fraser, a caveman. And if you can enjoy hanging out with him and listening to Pauly Shore go on and on.
A very intelligent caveman.
Yeah.
Because he learns a lot of things very quickly.
He's very adaptable.
And I have a feeling
he takes a lot of shit in his stride.
That's not how that would go.
I don't think that's how this would go either. It's going to be hard enough waking up Walt.
The fact that they find the ice cube, bring it into the shed, and leave it there for a couple of days.
The giant sort of... What's the guy who designed Alien?
H.R. Geiger.
This giant H.R. Geiger ice coffin. so creepy to look at.
It's like The Thing. It's like the ice coffin from The Thing.
Yeah. So basically we're introduced to them digging the hole. Then we do a little day at school. We meet Matt the bully. We meet Robin, the girl he likes. She's going out with Matt the bully. Teacher says there was ice ages once,
Yeah.
Has a weird...
You've all seen glaciers. Yeah. They're also underground.
They're everywhere. Or like we can't say like some people say. There's kind of a theory. This might be bullshit, but some people say there's glaciers underneath us right now.
What?
And like
in Encino?
and he sort of weirdly flirts with the girl who likes Cro-Magnon Man,
Yeah.
the teacher. Like, back off. Don't lean in so close to her. But anyway, then they're back in the hole. They find a bowl. They make a big deal out of nearly breaking the bowl. Then we never see the bowl again. And then they find Encino Man. And he's Encino Man because they live in Encino. But he's like Los Angeles. I guess they're meant to be like Neanderthal Man, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't get there in my mind when I just read the name. It took me a long time.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, to be sorry, it's not your fault.
Yeah, no,
It's Pauly Shore's.
Well, the world does blame him for a lot of things.
Yeah. They try.
So
We blame him for...
they try to thaw him, but it's not working.
You know, Pauly Shore from Pinocchio.
And then they go to school the next day.
Yeah. They try to tell his mum, but she's too busy on the phone. Like how parents used to be.
Oh, I hated
and
that.
she's like, I'm working, get out. And your child is like screaming through the window. And like, this is the only time, like, and I like it because like, we just do this and then we never have to explain again why
his parents aren't involved.
Yeah, I'm surprised they tried to tell the mum at all. Because they think they found a body. I like this. Like, they never found Jimmy Hoffa. Al Pacino from The Irishman. That was funny. And then immediately Dave is like, this is my chance to make something of myself. I found a caveman. This is my golden ticket. And I guess, but I was always wondering, what are you envisioning? How do you think having this caveman is gonna help you? And he eventually talks Stoney into helping him. He gives Stoney a very seductive talk about the possibility of making money from this, and how
but they do nothing about that.
they never did,
Like, that never comes up again.
and as if you would. And they reveal at the end that there's these Polaroid photos that sort of show Brendan Fraser half out of his terrifying ice coffin. But before, I didn't... Oh, I guess they do show Sean Astin. He's taking one photo off the top of a ladder and stuff. But prior to realizing that, I was like, there's no evidence this guy is a caveman.
Yeah.
Like,
As soon as he gets out of the ice, you're like, okay.
you've just got...
You could carbon date him, though.
Yeah, I guess. You've just got a seemingly like quite mentally unwell, pre-verbal man.
You could also, like, if somebody did take his blood sample, his DNA would be different.
I guess.
He'd also have several diseases that don't exist.
Maybe.
Imagine
Yeah.
that. He's the start of the zombie apocalypse.
That'd be a fun version of this. You defrost Caveman Brendan Fraser and unleash...
And he infects Sean Astin with something
Yeah, and you unleash...
that causes people to talk like this.
Yeah. A fate worse than death. So they drag the ice coffin out. Stoney licks it for some reason. He's just trying all sorts of stuff, that Pauly Shore. He's just trying to liven up the scene.
That is some sweet acting.
They fall asleep in the dirt garden, and then they go to school the next day, and they put ice heaters on it to melt the ice. Because there's no way that would happen otherwise, apparently.
Yeah, no.
I can understand it might take a while. Yeah.
There's an underground glacier that keeps
I know there's an
so
underground
cold.
glacier, Isaac. Can you stop saying the words underground glacier? We've talked too much about underground glaciers. I'm sick of fucking hearing about them. God.
That's why it's so cold, though.
Oh, so we go straight... It can only get so cold. Doesn't matter how cold it gets. Ice will still... Ice is ice.
Yeah, but...
Can ice get below zero?
I think
It freezes
ice
at
can.
zero, but then it does it...
I'm pretty sure.
How would you know? Because you can't get in there.
This is true. But, well, let's just say that an underground glacier...
No one knows. Shut up!
can get cold.
It's LA. It can't be that cold. I understand it takes a long time for a big thing of ice to melt, but not that long. Anyway, they go back to school. He goes immediately up to Robin, the girl he likes, to tell her he found a caveman.
I know.
Why does he not think this just makes him sound insane? They could set up that, like, she's really into archaeology or something.
I love that he shows her a photo of them as babies naked.
Oh, fuck
we
that.
were naked together once.
We've been to go up to someone you like and be like, hey, we were naked together once, and show them a picture of you both as toddlers in the bath.
Have you shown this to anybody?
Strong serial killer energy coming off there.
Yes.
Absolutely worst move in the world. But anyway, just some of these characters needed to have some sort of connection to caveman archaeology, something.
Okay.
Like, if Robin wants to be an archaeologist or something, then Dave will be like, oh, she'll be interested in this.
In the caveman.
So she'll like me. But no one gives a shit about him. There's the girl who thinks he's hot because he's Brendan Fraser, and she's not bloody wrong, I'll tell you that much. But the fact that he's a caveman is immaterial. He's just like the little one from the Wild Thornberries. Or George of the Jungle, I guess, basically is what I'm saying. So that's what I would have put in. And she's like, okay, fine, I guess. I'm not interested in that. The bullies bully him. They staple gun him to the wall and write "Eat me" on his forehead. And just take your shirt off, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you are then shirtless. But like, it's a staple gun.
But he's wearing a t-shirt.
Just rip it off.
They stapled his overshirt to the wall.
Yeah.
Which, like, in the real world, that wouldn't hold the person up.
No. So I don't know what... Yeah. But, good bully acting. All, I mean, I think it was all, like, faintly homoerotic the whole time. What that bully is doing.
So is bullying in general.
In general, it is, isn't it? There's lots of invading of space. There's lots of touching. There's lots of, like, being intimate in an intimidating way. I'm like, just be who you are,
kiss,
man.
Just kiss.
Yeah, well, don't, because he's clearly doesn't want to. But find someone else and kiss them, please. And just let it out. It's fine. And then finally, minute 19, Brendan wakes up. Brendan comes back on screen, and I like how just an absolute mess he is. Yeah, he is covered in dark mud and looks weird and scary. So he's in shape, but he hasn't yet developed that extreme George of the Jungle body that we would all come to know and love. Perhaps the best body of the 90s.
Yep.
Was Fight Club in the 90s? I think it was 99.
I think so too.
So it might be Brad Pitt.
I'd say Brendan Fraser, though.
Yeah. Well, we shouldn't we?
We will.
We're saying Brendan Fraser.
Take that, Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Fuck off.
Yeah.
You don't look good. George of the Jungle would beat you in a fight. And he's not even in a club.
Could you imagine George of the Jungle starring Brad Pitt?
Can you imagine George of the Jungle at Fight Club?
Could you imagine Fight Club starring Brendan Fraser? Yeah, I could actually.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's playing both roles the whole time, like Man in the Iron Mask style, and it's just obvious.
He's just got a mustache full of.
And there's just no conflict between them, and they're just
best mates.
They're just getting along.
He just imagines a real cool version of himself. Like, yeah, man, I respect you.
Yeah, and then he's like, wow, I could be him. And then at the end, they just integrate because he's become his best self. And it's called Chill Club.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And rule number 1 about Chill Club: talk about it. Invite your friends.
Invite your rule number 1 of Chill Club is please tell people, because we're trying to get more people to come along. And so if you could,
I think people need to chill some more.
The more you talk about it, we'd really actually, we've got these flyers. Could you hand these out? But be chill about it, obviously. So, what did you think? What did you think of Brendan discovering the world?
I
a lot of arse on display.
A lot of arse on display.
A good 20% more arse than was necessary. Not complaining.
It's less arse than it would have been if it was Daniel Craig. Let's face it. We would have seen...
If it was Daniel Craig, there would have been no loincloth at all. Front and back. Mm-hmm. Just here we are.
Yeah. Here we are acting.
I'm acting.
This is called acting.
I'm in this teen MTV comedy. Film. And I'm going to show everyone my cock.
I think we need to do at least 30 takes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to rehearse. Just roll the cameras. Let's see what we get. I'm never going to put clothes on the entire film. I'm Daniel Craig.
Don't think it was scary enough. Like...
As in, like, he should have been scary.
As in, no, he should have been scary, yes, but also he should have been terrified of the world.
Very hard thing to write and play.
Very hard thing
Caveman
to write,
waking up in LA alone.
Yeah, there would have been ways that even with the budget and the filming that they're doing, it would have been able to make it appear that he was afraid by like not just like showing, oh look, this is a building, but like doing like quick zooms into things and like having scary music over it or just like shocking things. And
it should be like a
shock.
sensory overload is what he should be getting, and he's not really.
He sees the entire layout of the city,
and he's like,
then he's just like, okay, I'll yell at it for a minute and then I'll walk away. And then he goes inside this giant house, which he would not go inside the house. If you've never seen a house before, if you've just lived in a forest and you come across some big modern house, you're not going to go, oh, I'm going to go inside this thing. You're going to think that's terrifying. I'm not that. I worry what this could be.
I think this sort of like it's all okay, but it's unfocused. And they just haven't really decided what they want to do with it. But you know, the whole movie it's not really necessarily trying to do that much. It's just sort of just trying to pootle around and have a bit of fun. And it just makes it, but then it just makes it a lot of it come across kind of more weak than it necessarily had to be. I think it's funny that he steps on a rake immediately.
I think that's funny too.
That kind of sums up the movie, I think. You know, we're talking about
it's very Sideshow Bob to step on a rake there.
Leading to my Sideshow Bob is sort of woven through this film. Great dog acting.
Oh,
that dog does an amazing job.
Oh, so good.
But it's only
I don't know if that's the dog acting. I think that's just dog being nice, and Brendan Fraser just taking that on board.
I think it's Brendan Fraser being able to meet the dog where it is and engage with it on its level and really get a great performance out of that dog. And so great credit to Brendan Fraser for that.
That entire 20 seconds of dog stuff.
Yeah.
That doggy style 20 seconds. Man.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Real good.
Watches a bit of TV. They got the Terminator clip, which apparently was a big deal.
That's cool.
Jeffrey Katzenberger had to get on the phone with Arnold Schwarzenegger and be like, come on. And I was like, yeah, all right, it's fine. Again, for what purpose? Because
so he can say it later in the film.
Yeah, but they never do any Terminator-y stuff or anything.
No, but they can say it later in the film then.
I guess. They watch a clip of the music video for Treaty by Indigenous Australian group Youth Yindi, which, you know, not a great look.
Yeah, no, it was weird that he started dancing to that too.
Yeah. And sort of implying that this caveman has sort of a point of
because it's like they're trying to state that because yes, it is a very old culture. Their culture could be the same as what he had.
The oldest continuing culture in the world. But it just
it's
because they call him a caveman so much and say they're going to teach him pet tricks. Then it starts to play a little bit badly.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, that's Australia right there. What's going on?
It was very Australian.
The boys get home. They're absolutely shocked that the ice has melted.
Well, the ice wasn't supposed to melt.
Yeah, because it's so cold.
Exactly.
Because it was in a glacier, and you'll never guess where that glacier was.
It was an underground glacier.
Unfucking believable. Some of the coldest ice on Earth. It's Venusian ice.
California underground glacier.
And they find it up in Dave's room. Lots of these like POV shots of them like screaming at each other. I thought that was all okay. What does beak mean in this film?
Nose. Your nose and mouth.
I hope you don't gnaw on our beaks.
Nose and
Pauly
mouth.
Shore. Why would it? Okay.
Because he runs into a glass door at some stage and he says you bumped your beak.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's your nose.
Okay. I can see how you get there. Because beaks are birds' noses, aren't they?
Yes.
And they eat with their wings. So they make a connection with him using fire, which I thought was quite a good idea.
And it's filmed quite well because there is the little bit of him being intimidating. He's the scary thing.
Yeah.
And then in comes the lighter.
Yeah. There's lots of, in this movie, that thing of the two guys looking at each other and then like smiling or nodding or screaming. You know, like there's the scary thing over there, but the two characters scream at each other and you scream for a few seconds and then you run away.
It's very MTV.
Miss that.
It's very Nickelodeon.
And there's a weird like tentacle sound effect when they do their little handshake thing. They put their hands together and do the fingers and goes, no thank you.
Would you
It's
rather
the
it be
only
like,
time.
like Bill and Ted, how every time they make air guitar?
Yeah. Lots of. This is basically this is very much in the Wayne's World, Bill and Ted
It is, yeah.
genre.
Yeah, genre. I think genre is the right word for it, yeah.
It's a genre. They give him a bath, and they do it as if they've never had a bath themselves, even.
They pour in all of the cleaning liquids in the house.
It is brimful.
It is overflowing, brown and dirty.
I can imagine this is all fun, though. Like, if you're a child...
This would be great to watch.
If I could imagine enjoying watching this as a kid and just watching stuff like that. Like, that's how you want to have a bath. None of these boring, just sit there and not clean myself. That is not what I came here for. I came here to splash and do big bubbles and play a submarine. You know.
Oh, did you ever have submarines in the bath?
I did.
That's
I had lots. I think I had a lot of bath toys.
Bath toys are so cool.
Yeah, it's just such a completely different play environment.
Correct.
To any other option.
If you have like one of those little kiddie pools outside, it's less fun.
It's not the same
because you're not naked.
You're not naked. True. That's not the main difference. It's the bubbliness.
It is the bubbliness. You can make islands of bubbles.
And the fact that you can't see under the water, you know, that introduces a new element to it.
Element
and the fact,
of terror.
And you can mold the bubbles. Yeah, element of terror. Yeah. Bath is a pretty scary place. And so, yeah, now he's clean. And so now he's not Caveman anymore. Now he's just lovely Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, he's a caveman for a solid 5 to 10 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
And then he's just Brendan Fraser being an idiot.
Yeah, and he kind of loses his that
yeah, there's no
the physicality from
he becomes a human who can't speak.
Yeah, they call him Link because he's the missing link.
Adorable.
That's all right.
Even though he's not.
The family comes home and yeah, not at all.
Yeah,
he's Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, but like even in terms of the context of the film, they know what kind of man he is. He's not a missing link. He's just.
I don't know what the people who were the missing link looked like, but I can tell you they didn't look like Brendan Fraser. Not having a go at them. I'm sure they were lovely people, but they were not Brendan Fraser. Can you imagine being a caveman and Brendan Fraser walks by? Like, what the fuck is he on?
No, they'd worship it as a god.
Yeah, he would be worshipped as a god. He would be Ra. He's probably what they based the Sphinx off. Anyway, the family come home and Dave just like gaslights them into thinking they already knew that this exchange student was coming.
He's from Estonia.
Yeah, and his dad's like, yeah, I think I remember you saying something about that.
God, it's so shit.
Yeah, great 90s family, sort of bratty younger sister who's always like undermining him.
Yeah, and it's great that they're in this one scene, and then maybe once again, and that's it.
Yeah, she's just
like when your film could have been about this family relationship with the caveman. Could have been this.
True, there's no family because they try and do a Henderson's later on,
yeah,
just between the bros.
But it's not that.
The way they manage to just sort of write the family out of it is like, don't worry about the family. Yes, he's staying in their house. Everyone is chill.
Dave has a family. It's okay.
Yeah.
But they're not what this film is about. This film is actually about nothing. It could be about something.
The film is about...
But we chose to make a film about nothing.
Well, it is... Well, no, the film is about...
Underground
family,
glaciers.
Isaac. It's about family and underground glaciers. You know,
it's about family. It's not about
yes,
family.
It is, because when Link is sad later on,
he says,
and they
family.
say, we're your family now, and it's about the family you make, much like Fast and the Furious.
Oh, exactly.
It's just like Fast and the Furious.
This is the actual main inspiration for the Fast and the Furious.
If instead of cars, you had underground glaciers.
You may not know this, but the main inspiration for the Fast and the Furious franchise has been Encino Man. Well, Vin Diesel started reading a lot about underground glaciers. He did.
It was like, what if these were cars?
Exactly. But also
family.
In the terms of learning to drive a car in a video game and then being able to drive a car perfectly.
Yeah.
Is just, it's crazy. Because like if you watch action movies, you can become an action star. And that's what they have done.
Yeah, what actually more, I think the thing is that you watch action movies, you can actually do action in real life.
Yeah.
You know, like if I'm ever in a terrorist hostage situation,
You'll know what to do.
I will end it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying how it will end, but I will bring a rapid resolution.
If I'm ever in a situation, I won't be in one for long.
Yeah. I'm leaving somehow.
I'm either gonna die.
Hey guys, either we're all dying or we're all leaving right now. I've seen a lot of action movies. So they just take Link to school, which is like a bonkers move.
Yeah.
Like, why are you? And he just keeps saying he's our way to become popular. He's just a guy. I mean, he's Brendan Fraser. And sure, like if Brendan Fraser is one of your best mates, then you can become cool. But Brendan Fraser who can't talk is a less good one.
Yeah.
You know? Because they don't even say like why people will like him. No one, apart from that one girl, no one else explicitly acknowledges how handsome he is. You could say, oh, well, look, we found the most handsome man of all time. Now we're going to be popular.
At other times, because he does like backflips and shit, and he's awesome, a lot of the girls are like, oh,
yeah.
Wowie. He's so confident.
You know how girls are.
How girls do.
Yeah, he says we're going to teach him some stupid pet tricks and get him on Letterman. No, you're not.
There's no attempt.
No, you're not.
He's a human.
You'd get Amnesty International get called if you did that. Look, this human man plays fetch.
Look, we found him.
Well,
in an underground glacier.
We found him in an underground glacier. You might not know about it. They're everywhere.
They go on Letterman, but the entire questioning is about underground?
But where are these underground glaciers? Thank you. I'm glad you asked.
Fucking Brendan's in the background just eating.
Just chewing on a bone. And this is the other arc that Dave could have had. He says, we found him. We can do whatever we want with him.
Oh, God, it's hard.
Yeah. I mean, and, you know, as Stoney says, he's wheezing off his gig at this point. And Dave needs to learn that he shouldn't wheeze off of his gig.
You should never wheeze off your gig.
Because he's a human. And also, you can only become popular by being yourself, not by wheezing off someone else's gig.
Mm.
But that doesn't really happen either.
You can't harsh another guy's mellow. You got to find your own.
Yeah, you got to find your own gig.
Mm.
But he does. But that doesn't happen either.
Nope.
There's lots of things set up, and then it just sort of meanders along. So then Link parkours after that pretty girl. She really takes that in stride.
It is pretty badass.
Another great phrase is, this dude totally fundamental or what? Fundamental meaning hot, I guess. That's a great way to say hot. Fundamental.
We should bring that back.
Yeah, we should.
Even though it probably wasn't actually a thing. It was just a thing in this film.
That's the problem with this film. It's sort of
you don't know which of them were actual...
It's taking place in a sort of parallel universe. Everything they're saying is sort of like the True with Tom Hanks. So yeah, go to the convenience store. Stoney explains snacks to Link. Slushy machine. Attendant in the convenience store of this movie, played by Eric Avari from The Mummy.
Yes, yeah, I saw that, yes.
Yeah, I was like, I know that motherfucker.
That's cool.
Returning to the Brendan Fraser filmography, or will do later, anyway, and then die in that film. And they say, I'll be back. For no reason. We go to an amusement park and we have some amusements. And Dave is worried about where they are. Link's having a pretty good time at this point. He's just sort of vibing around.
Yeah.
They go and meet the girls at the... So there's just lots of just like hanging out, sort of Stranger Things energy scenes.
Yeah.
Just like fashion-wise.
Yeah.
And music-wise. And then they're at an ice skating rink. And they go to an ice skating rink in Stranger Things. So I don't know if you know. There's those two
it's
like
actually a roller skating rink in Stranger Things season 4.
Yeah, I know, but what they're rolling on is ice
in this movie. Yeah,
yeah.
In Stranger Things,
yes, or what you might call an above ground glacier.
Yeah. You might call it that.
You might call it that. Yeah, and that's actually
when it's above ground, you have to clarify.
It's actually quite a high temperature glacier. That one, it's nearly zero. So that'll melt more easily.
Nearly zero. It's nearly zero.
There's those two other loser bullies. So there's like the main bullies, and then there's other loser bullies that also get in on the action and like make Dave step on the skateboard and stuff. They're just catching it left, right, and center, these guys. And so they're just sort of hanging out there for a while. That's when Dave brings up the photo of them together as babies. There's more homoerotic bullying. Almost like, I don't know you, I don't like you, but as of now, I'm all over you. Gay!
Oh, really?
And again,
You've awakened something in me.
nothing wrong with that, my guy. Just, stop expressing your love through punches and bullying. And Link is like gonna fight him, but then he doesn't fight the bully, and they're like, "Come on, we've got to make our meat puppet here fight bullies for us." So they
like that he doesn't, though.
They go home and they watch WWE to teach him how to fight. I like some of this stuff. Link breaks the wood over Dave's head instead of breaking it himself. Eats the eggshell. Lots of fun stuff. Then finally, minute 56, Huy Quan appears on screen. Lovely little guy. And then
isn't in it for much longer.
And then that's kind of it. He's there at the he's at the prom. He's doing the mic work at the prom.
He dances a little bit.
I want to see.
I wanted him to be Dave.
I wanted Link to go to the computer club and just see
Me
what
too.
happens.
That would have been really cool.
He's really good at it.
Just like stupidly good.
He's like Goodwill Hunting at the computers. And so then this is interesting. This is like if you were to make this into more of a more substantial movie, I guess. This is where the interesting stuff is, where they go to the Natural History Museum.
Oh god, yeah.
And Link has like a PTSD flashback.
If this was
to prehistoric times.
If this was a movie where they find their dude in the underground glacier in their backyard, and then you have the family life explored, and he joins the family.
Yeah.
Dad or mum works at the museum, and he goes to work with them one day.
And they're like,
you just have to stay in here and be safe. But I've got to go to this meeting or whatever it is, and he's just let loose inside this museum. Mm-hmm. That's how you get this horrific moment.
Yeah. Or one of the parents, they know he's a caveman, and so they take him there on purpose to try to sort of help him or like orientate him and stuff. Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah, when he's there, like he's trying to make fire and just crying in that exhibit. That's so sad and emotional, and just I don't know. Even though it's such a bizarre actual scenario that's happening, it's a very sort of relatable human emotion of suddenly remembering a life you used to have or things you used to do.
Yeah, but like for him, that's just like 5 days ago.
Well, yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. But to real, it's weird because you don't know what he knows or what he's thinking. You don't know if he's figured out that was all a long time ago. Because from his perspective,
he's just like sleep and woke up.
He's just swapped dimensions as far as he's concerned. Yeah, and and the boys do a pretty good job with him in that moment, I think, as well. Yeah, we're your new family now. It's so.
That's the first time that they show actual care towards this person as a human.
Yeah,
and not just as a pet.
Yeah, and Encino Man isn't just for Christmas. You know what I mean?
You have to. Yeah, there's a lot of responsibility.
I wonder if
after him.
I wonder if Dave ever realizes that, this guy's in your life forever now. You have a duty of care to this man that's never going to go away because he's never going to be that normal. Is he?
It's not like he's going to get a job.
Like he's probably going to end up on the NDIS. If you know what I mean? I don't know. I wonder if you could learn language that late, because he would have been communicating with people in their way.
Yeah, but
so his brain probably his language centers are probably as developed as ours.
But his vocal ability would not.
Yeah, maybe not.
Because we're designed different than he would be.
By God.
Yes.
That's how.
Thanks, Jesus.
Yeah.
But the way our bodies are built, we can do more things with our tiny little bits on the inside. And make
but I think the point. But he'd still have, because he's not the missing link. He's just old timey man.
Yeah. I guess.
So I think he has all the same bits.
So not 2 million. 2,000 years.
Well, not 2,000, because that's middle of the Roman Empire.
Yeah, but what about in California? No, those guys have been
they
there
were
for
doing,
tens of thousands
They
of
were
years,
doing
yeah.
fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
They were riding horses and having wars and building Aztec temples. And
Well,
not Aztec. That's like 1,000 years ago.
yeah, same. Well, the Mayans were for a while before that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. People have been building pyramids everywhere.
People have been building.
It's a tale as old as time. But the story so the thing that we're lacking, the other thing, we don't really have an arc for Link.
No.
Which is very hard to do for a non-verbal caveman character. Or anything for him to really do. He just sort of bumbles around at the behest of Stoney and Dave. Yeah. And like he learns stuff and he gets better at being a person. But that's kind of...
Yeah, we're not shown a want for him, and he doesn't achieve anything by the end of the film that he hasn't
And I think this may or may not work, but like I think you could do this without destroying the tone of the film. Stuff like have him be have a way to make it clear that he does understand that time has passed. Right? If you know that he knows that, so we have a sense of how his understanding of the world, then have him be... I think maybe if you did your prologue scene like Caveman times more, don't have it be like an ice hell. Have it show them sort of having quite a nice time in the forest or whatever.
Yeah.
And then have him be sad about the industrial urban sprawl and the sort of what's happened to the landscape in the meantime. You can do a little bit of that.
Yeah.
So he has an emotional reaction to that. And I don't know, could you do something like there was his family's cave that could still be there, and like he wants to go back to where they were.
That could be very cool.
And so it's sort of like a journey home for him to like get closure on, this life has passed away.
Just you show them at the start going to a place that they've gone to for many years, where they put pictures on the walls. Just a hidden cave up in a mountain somewhere.
Yeah.
And then later on he takes Dave and Stoney to the same place that still exists and hasn't been tainted by humans.
Yeah.
And like all the paintings are still there, and he sees the one that he put there. And then like at the start we see him put something there and the rest of the wall is clear. And so he gets there, sees that, and the rest of the wall is filled with other memories and stuff of his people moving on without him.
Yeah.
That would be very cool, because you could tell it pictorially. You could say like they would have something that says he disappeared one day, and then or like an ice age came and like they lived for a while, and then like it would be very, very cool.
Yeah,
and you do that with the family movie where he.
It is, yeah. I think that's the thing that makes this whole thing a bit odd is the fact that it's not a family movie. And
it's about kids trying to be cool.
It's about dudes trying to be cool in high school.
Yeah,
and it just doesn't sit that well.
It has the option of
together.
being a very, very good family film.
Yeah.
Like a very memorable family film.
But it's not. It's an MTV movie.
It is an MTV.
And it's just like, it's Pauly time, basically, for an hour and a half. And so, that just means it's much sillier. And there's nothing wrong with that at the end of the day.
There is nothing wrong with that. But I can't help picturing how good it would have been as a good family film.
And you know what? You know what's important? Brendan would have preferred that movie.
Brendan would have preferred that movie.
If you said to Brendan, this is going to be a really deep and meaningful and emotional movie about family, but without cars, instead with underground glaciers, which are very much,
real.
The cars of glaciers.
Very real.
Very real and everywhere and here right now. Then Brendan would be like, absolutely, yes, sign me up. This is my...
Ladybird.
I can't think of any. Yeah.
This is...
No! Not even at all.
But...
This is my Harry and the Hendersons, and I'm...
Well, not even Harry and the Hendersons, because that's a comedy. You could make this into like...
Well, it could still be it's a family comedy. With some sad moments where we confront the devastating trauma that the main character has gone through by having not only his family die, but the entire world he knows be completely eradicated. And not only that, you now have to live in LA.
Bicentennial Man.
Yeah.
Because there's a bit of comedy in that. It is a family movie.
Bit of that.
And it's a very lovely movie.
Anyway, we should keep going, so we're going to run out of time.
Yeah. We're almost at the end anyway.
Yeah. There's the most intense stunt scene of the whole thing where Link drives off in the student driver car and drives it up on 2 wheels.
And they drive on 2 wheels for a very long time.
Incredible. I thought this was funny. This is one of the producers. Like, there was a guy that had a speciality of driving cars on 2 wheels. I remember the guy we hired looked like he was 80 years old. We slapped a wig on him to be like Brendan. I always thought, well, we have to be careful of our camera angle. Maybe want to watch that scene again to see if he's in there. They go to a bar. They hang out at the bar for a while. Stoney drinks tequila with those guys. Hey, guys, if it's okay if I chill up on here, bro. You know how you talk.
I like that it's a whole bunch of like gang members.
Yeah, I think they're meant to be
like very Spanish gang members
because they have a lowrider car. That's how you know.
They do have a lowrider, and I enjoy that.
Probably criminals.
All of the Latino dudes are like just super welcoming. Like they're like they start off being a little intimidating, but like after a little while, they're just friends. They
try to be aggressive, but they're worn down by that Stoney charm.
Yeah, but like also the girl that's with them. Dave's crush, she's there. Robin, that's it. She's in the car at the end. They've all had a wonderful night, wonderful afternoon and evening.
Yeah, well, that's the power of Link.
It is the power of the missing link.
That's the power of the missing link.
He has the ability to just bring people together.
Here's the power to... He links us not only to the distant past, but also to each other. Mm. He is the caveman that binds. Like glue. Or ice if it's not too cold.
I googled that actually. Did you know that the coldest ice ever recorded was minus 160 degrees Celsius? Yeah, science. It says credit.
Science says.
It says ice 14 at around minus 160 degrees Celsius. The coldest ice ever found has a simple molecular structure. Science. Scientists have discovered 2 previously unknown forms of ice.
Underground.
Glaciers.
And Disney.
That's pretty cold. That's some cold ice right there.
Yeah, that is cold. Well, always learning. Yeah, so she's like broken up with Matt at some point. I don't really know when that happened.
When they get home,
she's like, I'm not going to prom with you.
I think she witnesses him bullying. And when she sees him punch Link at the ice skating rink, it's the final straw. That's the final straw.
Classic bully mistake. You never bully
in front of your lady.
You can't bully too hard, you know, because if you bully too hard, she'll see the real you and that you're an abusive monster. Mm-hmm. But if you just do a little bit of bullying, then it's just kind of fun.
And then if you laugh it off afterwards,
and then you're like, hey, come on.
We're just kidding.
And then you like shove them like playfully, but so hard they fall in a puddle, but the girl's already turned away. Yeah, that's peak bully right there.
That's smart. That's intelligent bullying.
Bully smarter, not harder. That's what I say. Mm-hmm.
But there are websites to help you with this.
There's probably websites. r/bullying.
How can I do this, but like better?
How can I be a better bully? Don't just bully. Be the best bully you can be. All right. Bully not just the right amount for you, but for everyone around you. Think how much does your girl want you to bully? How much do your boys want you to?
This is yes, but also
how much does the person want to be bullied? Make sure you don't do it that much, because then they develop a sexual thing.
But also, if they want to be bullied, none.
Then you make sure you bully some.
You have to bully a little bit.
Make sure they don't want to be bullied.
Yeah, because if they want to be bullied,
then it gets weird.
Then you're doing them a favor.
And
bullying is not about doing people favors.
It's about suppressing your personal urges and displaying power to the people around you in order to protect yourself from people ever finding out about the urges. And so that's bullying. And I guess also externalizing the pain from the trauma you've experienced in your home. Probably.
Yeah, or other places.
It's always just a bad dad, isn't it?
It's usually a bad dad, yeah.
Statistically,
it's
statistically in movies, bully has a bad dad, and then you're like, oh, it's all right.
It's not his fault.
I forgive you for all that bullying. I do immediately. Like anytime you show that bully the dad's being mean to him, I immediately forgive. They could have murdered multiple people. Forgive them immediately.
Yeah?
That's the power of storytelling.
Oh, okay.
She's like, I'm not going to prom with you. because you're just like everyone else. All you care about is what people think. I want to go with someone who's really cool, like a caveman.
Yeah.
Not Dave. So like
because Dave notoriously cares about what everybody thinks of him.
Well, yeah.
Way too much.
He cares about being popular and he wants to be in the yearbook. But like, it comes about like, the other girl liked Link. That never really comes to anything. But then Robin also likes Link. And so now we've got a love triangle between two of our main guys and Robin. And that doesn't really come to much.
No, because I think just Link isn't capable of loving one of these humans. He can only love one of him.
Well, Link likes Robin because he does a parkour off the balcony and he, I think multiple times, tries to grab her boobs.
He does, actually, yeah.
You know, like a caveman might.
Is it because she reminds him of
Encino Woman?
Yeah, Encino Woman.
Maybe.
Who is credited as Cave Nug.
Yeah. Yeah, his Cave Nug comes back at the end. I mean, we'll get to it.
Cave Nug.
Dave and Link are in jail. He calls Robin from jail to ask her if she wants to go to the prom, which is kind of crazy. This might be my favorite bit of the whole movie. Link gives him the quarter.
Yeah.
Like Link's learned. He's like, here you go, mate. Makes the phone call. And then at the end, Link gets his quarter back out of the machine.
It's very cool.
I don't know why I like that so much. It just sort of like showed, it just sort of built up.
His ability to learn, yeah.
Link's doing stuff. He's doing stuff off screen and now here he is. And she's like, I'm not going to prom with you. Can you ask Link for me? Which is kind of mean. Then she does also say, okay, never mind. We'll all go to prom together. Which would, you know,
which is kind of like that's a nice thing for her to do. She's like, you are my friend.
On one level, if you asked a girl to prom and she said that would feel like shit. But also from her perspective, it's a pretty generous suggestion.
Yeah.
Then Dave tries to Harry and the Hendersons Link and just get him to leave. Here's a skateboard, walk down this road and I'll never see you again, and just like become homeless, I guess.
Yeah.
Just become a vagrant.
Because that's what he would.
That's 100% what would happen.
Yeah.
Because they've only had so much time for him because he's a caveman. If you meet him out of nowhere, you're just calling an ambulance for him. Hopefully, like, this man needs some assistance. Another great line. But then we get a Dave and Stoney fight. So there's something, you know. There's all you've cared about your whole life is nugs, chillin', and grindage. And I mean, we've all been there in our friendships, haven't we?
This is true.
Maybe Matt Wilson was right about you all along. Then Link breaks up the fight, and they all have kind of a nice moment as a trio.
Yeah, he says family.
La familia. Then it's prom, because it's the finale of a teen movie in the 90s. Dave gets Link dressed up for prom. So I guess Dave has had that mini arc of no, he wanted to go with Robin, but like being the bigger guy and being like, okay, fine.
Robin wants to go with Link, it's fine.
Yeah, Link does that big jump down the stairs, which is fun. And then Matt the bully gets those Polaroids of Link defrosting.
Yeah, Matt the bully climbs through the window, breaks into a house with his mates.
Yeah, classic bully move.
Grabs some Polaroids and then leaves through the front door showing, hey, I got these Polaroids.
Which look like stills from a horror movie as well.
They do, yeah. It's quite horrific.
Absolutely terrifying images.
Well, they're Polaroids, man.
Yeah, true. Huy Quan's on the mic. He's giving out the Prom King Award. Matt gets there and he's like, I feel like in a lot of the writing of this, you could tell they're like, this doesn't really make any sense. What do we write for them to say here? And Matt's like trying to make a moment out of this, and he's like, we have a right to know if something bogus is going down in our school. What are you talking about? And the whole crowd is like, yes, we do.
Oh, what? Yeah.
Is something bogus afoot? Do tell, Matt the bully, our favourite bully in the whole school, the best at bullying. Go on, Matt.
Matt the bully.
He goes, he's not from Estonia. And I was like, what do you say? He's from the past. So he's not from Estonia. And I was like, what the hell is he going to say? And he says, he's a caveman.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Massive cheer. Everyone immediately
like, yeah,
figures out what he means and then figures out it's fine and he's cool. And it just doesn't work. Link, he punches Dave, then Link punches Matt,
With his face.
Yeah, well, he does that big wrestling move. What's it called? The round the world or whatever.
Yeah.
On the shoulder. Into the cake.
That's how you defeat a bully.
Yeah. So, it's good that the wrestling thing came back. Then, and I'm not bullshitting, real life funk metal supergroup Infectious Grooves just gets on stage.
Yeah.
And starts playing.
They were playing the prom, man.
You know how you do a prom. And then the three heroes start leading the whole prom in an entirely choreographed dance for a really strong...
Well, sorry. Stoney and Link start the dance, and Dave joins in. Showing Robin that he doesn't care. He can be,
was that
he
a
can
little
be himself.
beat there?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a small beat there where Dave goes, watch this, and he joins in with the dance. So he's a confident person now.
Yeah.
Which gives her the only reason to then kiss him at the end. Because he's still been creepy for the entire fucking film.
Yeah, still been weird, very objectifying of Brendan Fraser the whole time. So strong Bollywood ending for this movie, surprisingly. And I'm fine with it. And then, then it's after party. Good sparkler film.
Yeah, it's the after party.
Cinematography going on
in a pool.
Here. Yeah.
And the
everyone's
house
jumping
is
in the
very
pool
familiar.
in tuxes.
It's not Dave's pool, though.
No, it's not.
But the same bathtub.
Yeah.
So, is it
because
Dave's
then
pool?
they redo the sequence earlier of finding Encino Man
Link.
because somehow Encino Woman has also defrosted Brendan Fraser's girlfriend from the very start of the movie in the past. So she must have been in some even colder ice.
Oh, she was
this
literally
whole time.
like at the start of the movie, like 3 feet away from him. Her ice coffin was like literally just there. They just dug up one and left the other one like 2 feet away.
They looked down and saw another person. Well, we'll get to that later.
Coming, but you're in an underground glacier,
That
so
glacier-
you're fine. You're safe.
That glacier's a bit too underground. There's such a thing as too far underground, and we don't even want to deal with that. So yeah, she somehow gets out and has already run herself a bath. She's gone along much further than Brendan Fraser.
Yep.
And so Brendan Fraser doesn't have to go out with Robert anymore. He's got his cave woman girlfriend back. And they have a great time. She immediately looks $1 million.
It is Dave's house.
Okay, so that is his pool.
After the prom, some of the students attend Dave's house for a pool party.
Because he's popular now.
Where Dave and Robin kiss. So he achieves everything he wants. He's popular. He'll be remembered in high school. This is the peak of his existence. And now
Link
he'll go
has a
work as used car
girlfriend.
salesman.
Cut to complete silence for the end credit. Stoney says, "I'll be back." And then the music starts for the credits.
Yeah.
It says the end and there's just blank silence. For some reason. And so that's Encino Man. One of the writers, George Zaloom, he said the premiere was at Disney's Florida studio. They flew us all down there for like a fake premiere. They would only pay for one limousine. So they would put one star in the limousine, drive them from the hotel, drop them off, get out. There's a big crowd waiting to see everybody. Then the limousine would turn around, go back and get the next person. And they just kept going until they got everybody. Jesus. So each star came in like 10 minutes apart.
Fuck.
When Fraser was promoting School Ties, which we'll be doing next time, he told the interviewer he's happy to be seen in School Ties to prove that I can do more than grunt, rub sticks together, and ogle Valley Girls. Harsh. As not a massive Pauly Shore fan coming out of this. Or like, I respect what he's doing.
It's something.
It's something. In some ways, it's a lot.
If it was just
fine.
for this film and only this film, it's definitely something. But because
what we have to confront now is that there's 2 more Pauly Shore vehicles in which Brendan Fraser cameos as Link the Caveman.
Really?
And so they're in the Brendan Fraser filmography. Son-in-Law and In the Army Now are both Pauly Shore movies that Brendan cameos in, and so they're in his filmography. And so now we have to watch them. So that's just that is a lot. That's a lot of Pauly Shore.
It is quite a bit.
Okay, so that's Encino Man. It's a it's a slice of life, isn't it?
What if
Life.
I'll watch one, you watch the other, and we'll talk about both of them together.
I'm not going through either of these alone. I need to be able to share it with somebody. So again, one of the I think producers, the cinematographer was Dan Halster. This is one of his first movies as well. And he said this movie, it started the 3-movie deal that we did with Pauly, which was Son-in-Law and then In the Army Now. And it was kind of like, they called it the Dumb White Guy Movie series.
The Dumb White, yeah, well, it fits. It fits.
Which, I think is an oversimplification of the complex character that Pauly Shore has created. There's a lot going on there. There is a sequel.
Juice. To a direct sequel?
There's a direct-to-TV sequel called Encino Woman, which is on YouTube. Okay. I've watched the first 10 minutes of it.
Is it starring the same actress?
It's starring... no, I don't think so. It's starring no one, I'll say that.
No.
But
it's an ensemble piece.
What I can already say about it, which I think is funny, is there's just no explanation of how the cave woman wakes up. She's just there in the streets, just running around holding a spear out of nowhere. And there's still a lot of chatter around sequels to this, kind of like a Heat 2, I guess. But you could get Sean Astin, Pauly Shore, and Brendan Fraser back.
Yeah, they do it, but why?
In service of what? Like, I don't want to know how Encino Man is doing in 30 years' time.
I have no interest.
Because he should just be a man at this point.
You would think he has learned how to be a human, yes.
Yeah, and what do you...
The only thing you could do is if this movie was the family version, where you got to see that he had a family and had a life, they get reanimated somehow.
Yeah.
And you can explore that.
Yeah,
he's now living life as a human.
Yeah,
and has a successful law practice or something like that.
Yeah, can you imagine?
He works at a museum. That's what he would do. Yeah. He became a paleontologist, just to find the secrets and stuff.
Like a tour guide
or a tour guide. But yeah,
that'd be great because he'd know so much
from back then. Gets found and reanimated from an underground glacier. That's your sequel.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
But I think the time has passed.
The time is well past.
They're going to do it, aren't they?
I hope not.
I don't think Brendan Fraser
I don't think the Renaissance will do this.
I don't think
the Renaissance could do a new Mummy movie.
I think we could do a new
And I would like a new Mummy movie. I would enjoy that immensely.
Yeah, that could happen. So, where's this go on the rankings? People may or may not know, we don't score Brendan Fraser's movies out of 10 or anything. We are a ranking podcast.
We are.
And we rank them. I'm going to have to actually start making this ranking now because we've got a few going.
Okay.
This is... So at the top of the list, so far, we've got Presumed Guilty.
Presumed Guilty. Guilty until proven innocent.
Second on the list, we've got Child of Darkness, Child of Light. Am I right?
Where it belongs.
Third on the list, or the bottom of the list, as I like to call it, the fucking below the glacier, as you might say.
Dog shit.
Dog shit. Or
1991's Dog Shit.
Working title, Dog Shit. Release title, Dog Fight. Not fans. Not fans at all. Where does Encino Man go on this list?
I think Encino Man has to go below
Presumed Guilty. Yep. So number 2, above Childhood. Yeah, I'd say so. Because Presumed Guilty is
great Brendan.
It's just so weirdly good. And it's great Brendan.
It's great Brendan.
And Encino Man, look, it's got a lot of charm, I would say. Yeah. But
there's not a lot of substance.
Not a lot of substance. Yeah. But, it's just a goofy idea. And they're
interesting.
Having fun with it.
Both those films are based on true stories.
Exactly. Yeah, because people are often presumed guilty. Mm-hmm. And also there were cavemen once. And nugs. So I'd say inspired by true events. Definitely inspired by true events. And then the other important ranking we do is which of all the Brendan Frasers would win in a fight. Of the rankings so far, I think we had the same ranking. Well, I think Presumed Guilty Brendan was at the top of the win in a fight.
I think so too because of the
because
prison
that
fights.
Character does win multiple prison fights.
Prison fights, yeah.
And then it's. I think it then has to be Dogfight because he does.
It's Sailor. Brendan.
He's a Sailor Brendan. He's got his little sailor booties on. Yeah. He's having some naval fights, And then Child of Darkness is teenager Brendan.
Lacrosse Brendan
with a lacrosse racket.
Lacrosse Brendan, I think, has to lose that fight.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
And
Lacrosse Brendan can lose that fight.
There could be weaker Brendans than Lacrosse Brendan, but we haven't met them yet. Encino Man, I mean, he's got that caveman brutality.
He's got the brutality and the power of being a caveman and the parkour abilities.
He's got the parkour abilities. I mean, he's made it to like 20 years old. That means he's beaten multiple people to death with his bare hands.
True.
And like a saber-toothed tiger. I reckon he'd beat
I want to
Bobby
put him
McLaughlin.
first. If he has access to a rock or a weapon of any kind,
God forbid.
he's winning.
Yeah, he's probably not. He's not as deft at the hand-to-hand stuff.
Yeah, if we find a Brendan down the track that has access to more advanced weaponry than a rock,
I don't know though. I feel like he doesn't really do it in the movie, but I think if you really, but see, Link doesn't fight when he has the opportunity to fight. But so like he never sees red in Encino Man. But I think if you ever did get on the wrong side of him and trigger his
survival instincts.
I think he'd just like run you through a wall.
His gatherer instincts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time to
go gathering.
Time to gather some blood. I think he just...
Is there a movie where there's the hunter-gatherer aspect, but the gatherer is the badass?
Just... Yeah, because the berries have lots of like laser detectors scoping.
Yeah, the whole
them
village goes out hunting, but one guy goes out gathering.
Yeah, well, the hunters are just getting butterflies, and the gatherers are like going shoulder deep into Venus flytraps and stuff. So it's much more intense. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. This was Turns of Phrase. We'll be back next time with School Ties, which looks like, I mean, very, very prestige movie. Not really sure what it's about. But we've got early days Matt Damon, Ben Affleck. Pre GWH.
This is where they become Hell of Fame. This is where they
Was
become
it this?
best friends. No, I have no fucking clue.
Were they friends already? Because Good Will Hunting is still like 5 years away. So anyway.
Yeah, but this is when they were acting. This is not when they were writing Oscar-winning screenplays.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. To this day.
And it's never. I want to see Air though, because that's kind of them still doing their thing. You know, they're like it's a
I want to see
movie about Nike and Michael Jordan. I'm also very intrigued by Tetris.
Yeah, it's on the Apple thing.
Yeah,
I
should watch it. I think because I'm still fucking paying for Apple.
I
said this last time, and I haven't got around to turning that shit off. I'm gonna watch Tetris and then burn it to the ground.
Yeah, Apple.
Yeah.
A new villain.
With the heat of 1,000 glaciers.
We got Jeff, now we're coming after Apple.
All right, we're going to go watch the coronation, see how this mech suit thing plays out. And we'll be back soon. Join us next time for more exceptional theft of your time.